All of us have hunter-gatherer ancestors. Those were good times, right? They just had no stress, no job-related concerns. They didn't even have any clothing decisions to make. So what could we possibly have in common with those folks? Well, one thing that has not changed at all in humans since the time of the hunter-gatherers is the role of the torso or trunk in movement. Its role is to initiate and stabilize movement. So for instance, if you wish to move your right leg forward as you walk, the pelvis has to rotate slightly to present the socket forward, and then the leg can move forward. Similarly, if you want to reach into the depths of a tree to pull out an orange, it's not enough for your arm to lift up. The scapula has to be involved, and it has to position your arm in the perfect place to get the orange, not be short or pass that orange. So this is what I'm going to term proximal, meaning torso, positioning for distal, meaning arm, precision. And precision is something that's very important to most golfers, although we've always focused on speed. So what does this mean? Let's take the example of Justin Rose as he speaks in a very candid interview with Golf Monthly, when he claims he has three major traits that he's never been able to fully get rid of. Two that go together are that his forearms rotate rapidly through impact and his head hangs back. And the third one is that his arms always tend to fall in front of his body rather than behind, and he's always trying to get them to fall behind. Now, keeping in mind the principle that I just explained, it's obviously about proximal positioning to create distal precision, and especially for the trail side, because these are the muscles, the external obliques, the serratus anterior that pulls the scapula forward, and the latissimus dorsi that moves the shoulder and also is involved with the scapula. These are the main muscles that will definitely contract in the downswing and do it so fast in the 1/3 second that you cannot control the position of the scapula at impact. So how should you control that? Have a look and I'll explain. When the scapulae are so uneven at the top, the trail scapula must drop down and forward a considerable amount, because we know that at impact it has to be much lower than the lead one, just because the trail hand is lower than the lead one in the grip. As the stretched trail side muscles drop the trail side torso forcefully forward and down, the central nervous system is not able to control how far forward the trail shoulder will arrive at the ball, and this, you can see, is what causes the head to hang back and the arms to be occasionally in front of the ball. As for the rolling over of the forearms, that is completely inevitable. The only problem is when it's accompanied by the club path being too far inside, because the lead shoulder has been pulled in so far back as the trail one has moved out so far forward. Although superior athletes like Justin Rose are able to time their swings well enough to avoid the problems that they have most of the time, the occasional left and right misses that they have need never happen with correct scapular positioning at the top of the backswing. If you have understood the principle of proximal positioning for distal precision, you will see that when the trail shoulder is so far behind the trail toe at impact, the lead shoulder is equally forward, and the rolling over of the forearms never prevents the path from being slightly in to out, and thus allowing for perfect straightness of ball flight. The minimalist golf swing positions the scapulae at the top of the backswing so that this enviable position can be achieved on a consistent basis.